Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Welcome to another episode of the Müvment Boxing Podcast, where we bring you the latest and greatest news in boxing, unfiltered and uncut, unbiased, keeping it away from the mainstream, underground media, live, keeping it raw, giving it to you. I'm joined today by my other co-hosts, as normal, the truth and facts about boxing. Bernard, what's good with you, man?
What's good, Twine? I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and the grandmothers out there, those that got children, those that have adopted children, or those that are taking children in that's not even theirs, and not necessarily by adoption, but just saying, hey, you're my friend's, my son's friend, I'm taking you in as well. So Happy Mother's Day to all of them, the lovely women and the mothers of boxers and trainers and of this sport, Happy Mother's Day.
All right, big up on that one. And, of course, I am Twine the Divine Liberty of HoopJab.com. We holding it down for our co-hosts who can't be joining us tonight. Of course, they got other duties to tend to. They have, wives and things of that nature that they're celebrating Mother's Day with of their own, so we're going to hold it down for Bo. Also, the truth and facts about boxing. Also, we're going to hold it down for our boy 2K from the guys of Boxing Talk. You know what I'm saying? We'll check in with you guys next week, man. Enjoy your weekend, fellas. Have a good one. And with that said, you ready to get diving into these topics? Also, let me say we're going to hold it down for Big Cool, who can't be with us this week as well, Colossal Boxing Talk. So we're going to see all of them next week as well. But we're going to dive into these topics. You ready, Bernard?
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right, man. We're going to start off with a fight. Actually a title fight that happened last night or yesterday over in the UK. It was actually the title defense by Kal Yafai. He was defending his super flyweight title, his WBA title, against Suguru Muranaka, and he actually won it. Unanimous decision, of course. In his first defense. Bernard, let me see, how did you, what was your take on that fight, man?
To me, I thought the fight was Kal Yafai was in Muranaka. It came off very, in the beginning of the fight, to me, it felt kind of was a close fight. Yafai was, in the beginning, was backing up a lot, and I don't mean backing up in the line to say that he was trying to get away. It seemed like Muranaka was coming forward, and Yafai was trying to come with the counter punches and everything like that. At times, I felt that was beneficial. At times, I felt like it wasn't. Then there were times he got in the pocket. Now, I called it, like I said, I think I told you earlier, in the 8th round, there was a low blow that he was deducted a point for hitting Muranaka with a low blow. Muranaka with a low blow. But to me, when I saw the replay, he hit him on the belt line. I think that was a bad call by the ref. You didn't really see Muranaka, whatever his name is, Muranaka hunch over anything like that from a low blow, like it was a low blow. So it was a very bad call by the ref. I gave that round pretty much 9-9 round, but from that point forward, I had Yafai winning the fight. As my final score, I don't really have it on me right now. But there were, at times, also, too, I'm going to let you piggyback off me. But like I said, I spoke on the part of him. Basically, his countering. He was relying on his countering a lot to me in the beginning of the fight and his boxing skills, which it played beneficial, but Muranaka was coming forward, and he was constantly applying that pressure. So to me, it was a close fight. It was a close fight. I had it.
Okay. I kind of had it more like maybe I guess he started pulling away like towards the second half of the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
From actually, you got to take away that the low blow round. So from round 9 on, he pretty much was winning all of those. But he started off pretty. I don't know. I don't like the way he pretty much fought in the mirror, knocked his hands. Fighting on the inside and giving up his reach. That I didn't really like how he was doing that in the first half of the fight. He kept doing it in the second half of the fight, but he was able to land more combinations, and his body work that he was doing to Muranaka actually paid dividends over the rounds, as he was able to land more, and Muranaka threw less. When they were in closer quarters, he was able to move away from Muranaka more in the second half of the fight and actually start using his length a little bit better, which I thought was good. But Muranaka was still able to close him off pretty well for the most part throughout the whole part of the fight. It was a very difficult fight for Yafai for his first defense. So he definitely learned a lot in this one, and had to face some adversity going against this tough guy in Muranaka. But I definitely think it was a UD. I do agree with you about the low blow. It was 9-1. But he pretty much dominated the second half of the fight. After coming out and fighting into Muranaka's pace and playing into Muranaka's game plan, fighting in close quarters.
Mhm. I definitely agree with you on that one.
Let me get your thoughts on something. He had made a statement earlier in the week that he wanted to face Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Do you think he's ready for such a fight after seeing him fight yesterday? Do you think he's prepared to fight Chocolatito?
No. Muranaka was coming forward. What do you think Chocolatito's gonna do? That's it. You're playing. Like you said, he was playing. You try to fight in a pocket with Gonzalez. No, you're playing into the same game plan. That's the same fight. There's nothing you can really do differently. I mean, unless you could counter, which he did do it, but Chocolatito got. Man, he said he comes forward, man. I can't. Don't get me wrong. The weight class he's in is a little bit big for him, but I don't see him. I think it plays more to Gonzalez's benefit if you don't utilize that your box. If your fighter needs a couple more fights before he can take on that fight, I say, and he needs to utilize his boxing skills because you do not want to engage in in the pocket all-out war. That's Gonzalez's game plan. That's where he comes in. He comes in to seek and destroy. And don't get me wrong, Gonzalez can box, and he can counter, and he can move too, but not in the sense of what we're looking at. But when he's in the pocket, Gonzalez got head movement, he got leg movement. But if he gets if he feels like in the last fight, like when Gonzalez got that cut, he felt like he had to go there to survive. He felt like he had to fight and get the knockout because he thought the judges may have said, "Oh, I'm cut, I'm bleeding, looks like I'm losing." If it's that, it's going to be a war. But if if Gonzalez doesn't do that and applies that regular boxing knowledge that he has, he can come out winning. Your fight needs more fights though. I would say 2 to 3. So I wouldn't rush in there. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate his heart and his drive and his determination to take on a top fighter in Gonzalez. I give him credit, but you're not ready for that.
Yeah. All right. We got Bo on the line. Let me see if he got anything he want to add on. Were you able to catch the Kal Yafai fight yesterday?
No, I wasn't able to catch that fight, man.
Okay.
I wasn't able to catch that fight at all.
All right, it was pretty early in the day over in the UK. He actually won by UD.
Yeah, I heard him talking about it. Like a lot of people. Matter of fact, somebody did an interview. I want to say it was Ingram. Ingram did an interview with him, and I know he wants to fight Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. And I was listening to what Bernard was saying, and Bernard does have a point. I mean, I've seen the guy fight before. I just didn't see that fight, but Bernard does have a point. The only way is if he tries to turn into a fight where Roman Gonzalez tries to go for the knockout like he did in that other fight, then that's where it's at. But I still got to see how Roman Gonzalez's mindset is, because he claimed he's going to be going for the knockout in this rematch fight, and that's what caused him to fight the first time.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I definitely agree with Bernard. I think Kal Yafai needs a couple of more fights. Like I said, he faced adversity in this fight, which was pretty good. You know, being his first title for the defense, mandatory against Muranaka, a tough character. You know, in there. You know, like Bernard said, he had it a close fight. You know, I probably had it a little bit more distant. You know, but. Excuse me. He, like I said, there's some things he definitely needs to work on, especially if he wants to go against a guy like Gonzalez, who's going to stalk him all night, you know, in the ring. And, you know, if you're going to give up your reach and your size the way he did against Muranaka, you know, Gonzalez is actually a more effective guy, you know, in those kind of quarters, you know, those close quarters. So, I mean, yeah, that is definitely something he needs to work on before, you know, stepping up into that level to face the top guys. But I definitely admire his ambition, you know, wanting to face the top guys in the division. With that said, we're going to go on into our next topic, which is about Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's considering making moves to either 118 or 126 to get more fights. Since he can't get any at 122. Let me get you guys' thoughts on that, man. I'm gonna start off with Bo, since you have a lot of contact with those guys down there in Miami, as far as you know, moves they're making and what's going on. But like I said, he was considering making moves either 118 or 126. So give us a little insight on that, man.
My insight is that Bernard Mukes is a dirty little hoe-ass bastard. That's my insight on that shit. And I'm referring to a picture that this motherfucker dug up out his fucking archived ancient-ass phone of memory and put this fucking picture up.
Oh, you gonna tell my side, but you ain't gonna tell your side. That was a counter. That was a counter straight right.
Only fucking Bernard Mukes with his goddamn phone of fucking dark web net memory. With
hey, I didn't even go. Hey, I got the body shot. The body shot ready for you.
This dude right here is crazy. Yeah. So as we all know, Guillermo Rigondeaux, for a while, he has been contemplating going to 126 or going down to 118. Now, if you want to make money, and Guillermo would rather go to 126, okay? But here's the problem. At 126, he has a bigger issue with getting fights at one. He would have an even worse issue getting fights at 126 than if he was to go to 118. If he goes to 118, he can go to Japan. You got Yamanaka. You got Nai Inoue. You got a bunch of those dudes that will probably fight him at 118. You go to 126, you got all the guys that didn't fight him at 122, including Abner Maris and Carl Frampton, who won't have to fight him because they've already made big names. Well, they made big names as far as the fights that they had that the public kind of want to see. Then there's the whole Al Heyman don't work with Rock Nation thing because you got Shelby, you got Gary Russell Jr., like I said, you got Santa Cruz, you got Frampton, you got Abner Mares. So all of those guys at 126, they're not going to try to fight him because they're trying to fight themselves and have a big money fight. So although Guillermo he really wants to go to 126 because he wants Shelby, he wants Quigg. He wants Quigg, he wants Frampton. He damn sure wants Leo Santa Cruz. But the problem, I don't think those guys are going to fight him. And guess what? They cannot fight him and get away with it. Why? Because they have their own mix going on at 126. If there was no outcry for them to fight you at 122, there's going to be even less outcry to fight them at 126. Okay? So the smart move from a being busy aspect is for him to just go down to 118. And he can make 118 because Barrigo is not like a big guy. He hasn't even hydrated over, I think, the most I remember him hydrating to was like 127. So what he wants to do and what might be logical to do are two different things. If Rock Nation is smart, they'll say, look, Rigo, you better off going to 118. because we already know we can't make fights without hanging for you at 126 because he has the guys he wants in the mix to make mega fights at 126, and he's not going to be a part of that mix. The only way I would go to 126 is if he was guaranteed a title shot so he got to 126. Like, if he got to 126, and I don't know what organization it is, if you held their belt and you go up to the next weight division, you can be a Mando for that title. I think that's
WBA.
Okay, WBA. And if not, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the title he holds? He holds the WBA, right?
Yes. It's the WBO title that does that.
No.
The WBA.
Oh,
okay. So that's the WBO. Okay, right. So he doesn't hold that title. So no, he's not gonna going to 126 would definitely be career suicide. Because like I said, there was never an outcry for guys to fight him. Like, think about this: when it comes to Rigo, and he talk about them guys beating him, what do people say? Well, Rigo would have beat them anyway. That's what they say. Oh, well, Rigo would have beat him anyway. So
yeah. Definitely agree. But now you got anything you want to chime in on this one before I go in?
I was gonna really just say I agree with both. He should go to 118. I mean, there is a couple fights he got Flores. The fight with Flores, he's going to fight him. I want to see him fight Jesse Magdaleno, but the only issue with that is Bob Aaron's not going to let that happen because of what happened with Nonito Donaire. So you definitely don't want to lose that WBO belt. Like I said, top rank in WBO was a conglomerate. So with that being said, 118 will be his best. Now, who's the 122 WBC champion?
Ray Vargas.
Who he fought to?
I have no clue.
Me either. I don't know who he's signed to either.
I mean, if he's not signed to Heyman or whatever, is there a chance that Rigo can get him as well? Get that prestigious belt and get the eyes put on him back on that division?
And unification?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing. He got, like I said, he got Moses Flores. You have Samano, who holds the WBA regular belt, and I thought they was consolidating. And like you said, you got Ray Vargas, and then you got Oguni, who holds the IBF. So, I mean, the fights are there, but the problem is, would they be worth the money? That's the biggest issue. Like, none of those names I just named would probably be worth the money to make a fight with.
But what about Jesse though?
Jesse Magdaleno,
that might be a nice money fight.
Okay. Right, that would be a smart money fight. But the problem is, like you just said, I don't think Bob Aaron's gonna make that fight.
I think as far as him unifying, Ray Vargas is a real live possibility. It's a guy that's fighting out of Mexico, so I don't think he's necessarily signed with a big promoter. But I'll definitely check it out. They actually fought for a vacant title, I believe, as well at a 118. But I definitely think 118 would be his best bet, like the rest of you guys were saying.
Yeah, you got Lee Haskins, you got McDonald, you got Tate. Like I said, Yamanaka.
ZZ, Yamanaka. The fight that I would definitely want to see him in at 118 is Yamanaka and Tate. Those are actually probably the best two at 118, I think. Him and Tate have been going back and forth at each other for a couple of years now already. With his Tate's team turning down the fight because, they're saying he was too small, at the time. And, he's actually 5'9", and he's way taller and rangier than Rigo, if you look at him. So that's why it's kind of funny. They're saying he's too small. And when I actually think he could fight at 122, looking at his frame. But
right.
Well, you got a couple good fights. You got a couple good fights at 118. You got Yamanaka, ZZ, who beat Rasheed Warren, Jamie McDonald, TT. Who else? Juan Carlos Payano. I think that'll be a good fight with him. Good fight with him against Rigo.
Well, those are PBC fights though as well. Juan Carlos.
Yeah, Juan Payano. Yeah.
Well, ZZ's who's ZZ under? The one that just won.
I don't think he signed with it. I'm not sure who he signed with. But I know he's trained by
Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton.
Ricky Hatton, yeah. But I'm not sure what promotional banner he's under. But I think that's a fight that could be made at 118 as well.
What about Jose Cayetano? Why that name seems so familiar to me?
Cayetano? He signed with Al Heyman, so that fight would happen as well.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's
what about Solis?
He has more opportunities at 118 than 126. Because at 126,
especially against the champions.
Yeah, you got Gary Russell Jr., you got Leo Santa Cruz, you got Lee Shelby, and Abner Morris, all Al Heyman guys. And then Oscar Valdez, nope, scratch that. That's top rank. So
yeah, so you got to look at Yamanaka, who's in Japan, good money fight over there. Then you got to look at Tete, who fights out of the UK under I think Frank Warren. I'm not sure was he one of those UK banners. So that that's definitely a lot of money over there in the UK. He went over there and made the money fighting Jazza Diggins. So
exactly.
He definitely needs to go over there, man. And the title shots are there. The money is there. There's no promotional hang-ups. It's definitely I think it's the best move for him as far as moving forward with his career. So especially saying that he wants to fight, 3 times a year. That's not going to happen at 126, man. Even though I think there's more probably prestige in fighting at 126, but with the difficulties of making those fights, hey, he's going to be shit out of luck. So with that said, we can go ahead and go over into our next topic of the night, man. This is a pretty crazy one that happened earlier in the week. Somehow Wladimir Klitschko leaped 10-plus spots over Luis King Kong Ortiz to become the number 2 ranked WBC heavyweight title contender. After the Burn, of course, who's fighting Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight title holder, the WBC belt right now. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on what the hell just happened. How has Wladimir Klitschko lost twice in a row and found himself rising in the ranks still? Well, I understand with the WBA situation as far as the rematch, but as far as now jumping up in the rankings to number 2 over King Kong Ortiz after taking a knockout loss, what the hell is going on, man? Let me get your thoughts.
Money.
Yeah.
That's what it is, money. See, the reality is, listen, Luis Ortiz is in a situation where he can upset the balance of power, okay? And for all you out there talking about, you say he can beat Ortiz, no, I'm not saying he can beat Deontay Wilder. I'm saying he has the ability to upset the balance of power, okay? So, because here's the reality that people don't want to be faced with. Because when it comes to Wilder and Ortiz, they always want to make it look like how Wilder ducked Ortiz. No, it wasn't just Wilder that ducked Ortiz. I remember when King Kong called out Wladimir Klitschko. Klitschko didn't fight him. I remember when Tyson Fury, after beating Klitschko, was, that's when he did the retirement thing, and Ortiz tweeted, hey, Klitschko, I'll fight you since Fury is out 10-29. Klitschko didn't fight him, okay? I remember when he called Anthony Joshua. Joshua didn't fight him. I remember when he told Tyson Fury, I'll whoop your ass. Fury didn't fight him. I remember when he said, all heavyweights are pussies, and nobody fought him. So it wasn't just Wilder. He can upset the balance of power. Why? Because, again, Luis Ortiz, sad to say, all of these other guys, Wilder, Joshua, Fury, Klitschko, they fight each other, it's big money. They fight Luis Ortiz, it's high risk, low reward. And it really is, because if Deontay Wilder fights Luis Ortiz right now, and he beats Luis Ortiz, do you know what they'll say? Oh, he was a hype job anyway. That's exactly what they'll say. Oh, he was a hype job anyway. He ain't beat nobody. He was a hype job anyway. Right? But if Luis Ortiz beats Deontay Wilder, right, now, outside the fact they'll clown Wilder, but now Luis Ortiz fighting Anthony Joshua won't have the money value that with Lewis, with Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, America versus UK, or America versus Russia, with him and Wladimir Klitschko. So it's money because, like you said, I remember when Wladimir Klitschko wasn't even in the rankings for the WBC, at least not the top 15. So now all of a sudden he jumped all the way up. Come on, man. Money. It's money.
Bernard, you got anything well, actually, let me put a different spin on it for you, Bernard. Let me get your take on it this way.
Okay.
How is Luis Ortiz finding himself on the short end of the stick all the damn time, especially since he's put himself in a better situation being advised by Al Heyman now? He's actually put himself in some good situations, as far as being with Eddie Hearn for a couple of fights that he was working with them, being without Al Heyman now. He got a big fight with Brian Jennings while he was with Golden Boy. So let me get your thoughts on that. Like, how does he find himself on the short end of the stick, even though he's trying to make, better business decisions as far as, his promotional his management, the management of his career.
Bo said money. I'm going to go with a different theory. It's got to be some politics behind it. Now, don't get me wrong. And this is kind of maybe far-fetched to be thinking, but remember when Wilder was saying, that Luis Ortiz failed that drug test, da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, Ortiz signed up for the clean drug program, and he made himself to the number 2 spot. I don't know if it's Al Heyman, if that was a good idea to sign with Al Heyman. Now, I'm not accusing Al Heyman of doing anything. Just look at it like this. Your investment is Deontay Wilder. That's for the heavyweight division. That's who you got. That's who your man is in the heavyweight division. Luis Ortiz does have the chance to, again, like Bo said, upset the power. But you really can't promote Luis Ortiz to the American fan base, but you can't promote Deontay Wilder to the American fan base. Are y'all following me? With that opportunity, as for the Klitschko side of it, I can't figure that's some serious politics. Again, I was totally against him I understand why he was able to fight Joshua because of what Tyson Fury, but to have a rematch clause even in that fight, I was even mad like that. You constantly giving this old man a chance to fight for a belt that he lost twice now. You're constantly giving him an opportunity. And as I'm looking at the rankings too, this may play a various role in why Klitschko is put over Ortiz. The Emirates champion is Vitaly Klitschko, Vladimir's older brother. So he's basically the champion for life. So that could play a role in it as well. There's a lot of why Ortiz, I don't know. What can we say Ortiz needs to do? He's calling fighters out. He's calling them pussy. And nobody has stood up to him. The only, like Brian Jennings, he fought Brian Jennings. He got him out of there. And he had the opportunity to do a lot more. I don't know what he could do. I don't know what – he made some good plays behind the scenes. You got Matchroom by Eddie Hearn's Matchroom. Got him fighting in England. Very good move. You got Al Heyman as your manager. So right now you got an American fan base, the Cuban fan base, and the UK fan base backing you up. I'm surprised. As for the politics behind it, I don't know what's going on with that. That's some tricked out shit. I don't know what. 2 losses in a row to get you the number 2 spot, man. I don't know what to say about that. I just don't know what Ortiz could do. I mean, Ortiz. I understand Ortiz came off an injury. He sued the WBA. Maybe he needs to see what happens with the Romain Severn fight. And if once Wilder beats Severn, because I'm calling that one, maybe he could sue the WBC too. to get him a fight with Klitschko to see who is that number one contender for the WBC.
Yeah, right now it's looking like. Go ahead, Bernard.
If things fall through with the WBA, with the lawsuit with the WBA.
Nah, he hasn't filed one with them yet. He's planning on it if they don't honor him if Joshua doesn't fight him next.
Okay.
But that said, it's looking like there's a possibility that the Wladimir Klitschko Anthony Joshua rematch could be a real thing. Looking like October. I've been seeing in preliminary reports online. Just random stuff. Looking around. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it.
Quick question. I don't mean to cut you off. What's the situation with the IBF now with the Pulev? That's still up there too?
Yeah, he has the face Pulev next, or he'll be stripped. So I mean,
wow.
Has, but the situation was the WBA was saying that they may allow him a special. What was that? I forgot what they called it.
A special permit.
A special permit to allow him a step-aside fight, to avoid his mandatory with Luis Ortiz, to allow this rematch to happen. And so it's looking, I don't know.
But that's the WBA. But that's the WBA, though, right?
Yeah.
Allow him to.
But as far as the IBF, they'll probably strip him if he doesn't fight Pulev next,
But can they? That's what I said. Why would you? If you gonna put the special permit, this is my hypothetically speaking. What I would think is, I would think the WBA will allow a special permit for him to allow to defend the IBF title against Pulev next, and then give Klitschko.
That would be all up to that would be all up to pretty much the promoter's decision as far as who they fought next. But I'm just saying, I'm seeing preliminary reports that Klitschko will be fighting Joshua in a rematch in October. They're looking at that right now. That is a real possibility that could be happening in October if he doesn't fight Pulev in the meantime. Who knows? He might fight Pulev in the meantime, knock his ass out or something like that, and go on about his business. You never know. So, but you guys got anything else you want to add in about this one, Bo?
Just just the fact that it just goes to show you how when we talk about these organizations, or when a fighter fights somebody who's ranked high in the organization, and they say stuff like, oh yeah, but who that guy beat? Just like, the light heavyweight division has that guy Demetrius Bivol as number one in the light heavyweight division for the WBA title. Now, again, if the situation Ward fights him, they'll say he's too green or who'd he beat, but he's rated number one. So just keep this stuff in mind. It's not these fighters' fault who these organizations put in these numbered categorized. All the fighters can do is fight them.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you on that one, man. It sucks that Luis Ortiz keeps ending up in these situations, man, where he's looking on the, where he's on the outside looking in, or it's looking like he's not going to get a title shot at all right now, from the WBC or the WBA, considering the rematch or the Pulev fight options, for Anthony Joshua right now. And, of course, Deontay Wilder fights Sullivan, and now him being lowered to the number 3 ranking by the WBC. Man, yeah, that guy cannot catch a break, man, and he's going to...
You better check some Swiss bank accounts.
It's looking like he's going to end up being one of them what-if stories, them sad stories.
30 for 30 movie.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. That's it, man. We're going to go into another topic, man. It's looking like Sullivan Barrera will be taking on Joe Smith Jr. on July 15th on the undercard of the Takashi, Miura, and Miguel Berchelt fight on July 15th and on HBO. If we could get you guys started on this card initially, Takashi Miura against Berchelt, and then you got of course the fight that I mentioned, Joe Smith Jr. and Sullivan Barrera, fighting for, I guess, is WBC silver. What is it? 175 belt, light heavyweight title.
Yeah, the WBC silver.
Yeah, so let me get you guys' initial thoughts on that fight, not predictions or anything, but just thinking, what do you guys think is a good matchup or not? Go ahead, Bernard.
I think this is a good matchup for Joe Smith. He took out Pompera last year, and he also took out Bernard Hopkins last year by TKO. Sullivan Barrera been in there with Ward, got knocked down. Been in there with who's the last opponent that we thought he fought that he knocked out?
Shabransky.
Everybody thought he was. Some people thought Barrera was going to lose that fight, but Barrera came off otherwise. And that was with him under a new trainer, right?
Yeah.
So he's kind of, I don't want to, and not saying this is in a bad way. Confidence is up, riding that wave of that knockdown, definitely with a new trainer. This is going to be a fight. I'm not going to say Joe Smith is also riding his wave too, with 2 knockouts last year, as that one fight that you didn't see coming last year. So yeah, everybody said the Bernard Hopkins fight. Yeah, he's up in age, but yeah, Bernard Hopkins still got in the ring. This is one of those fights. I'm glad this is a good fight, even though I was really looking forward to Joe Smith fighting Adonis Chickenson, but for some reason that fight fell through. But I think this is a good fight. It's good, but I want to see how Joe Smith is tested against another top contender in this division.
Bernard has just now been muted from the conversation for. He's on timeout.
Oh, wow.
He is on timeout for derogatory comments just made.
Okay.
He'll be back on in a couple minutes.
Okay. No,
I told you I was going to get your ass back.
The Takashi Miura and Berchelt fight is a very good fight. Because we saw Berchelt and Vargas, these are 2 guys not going to be hard to find. They're going to bring it. Sullivan Barrera fighting Joe Smith Jr. Very good fight. Barrera is doing what a don't-ask Chickenson wouldn't do.
Bell has just now been muted from the conversation as well. Okay.
You must want to talk to yourself tonight.
No. No, go ahead, man. Go
well,
ahead.
You know what? Do you know what though? Real talk. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to that bitch Adonis Stevens. But but
he
you know what?
the belt.
Yep, it's an interesting fight because Joe Smith can pop. As far as his technical ability, I don't think he's more technically sound than Shabransky. I think Shabransky has more experience.
Barrera. Sullivan Barrera.
I'm sorry, right, Barrera. Sullivan Barrera has more experience.
Yes.
As far as the guys he's been in there with. Now people say, but Joe was in there with Bernard Hopkins. He was in there with Bernard Hopkins that shouldn't have been in the ring. Okay,
that's right. He wasn't in there with B-Hop. He was in there with B-Flop.
Exactly, right. But I can confirm that the fight is going down. It has been confirmed. I can confirm that the fight is actually happening July 15th. There are no possibilities. It's actually going down. This is a fight that if Sullivan Barrera wins this fight, he can position himself for a title shot at light heavyweight. And I can also tell you that Sullivan Barrera wants to get his revenge on Andre Ward. He wants that fight back. So it's a very interesting fight. only because Joe Smith is so hot. And it's a good move for him as far as going after Joe Smith, because the only person ahead of Joe Smith in WBC rankings, of course, is Kovalev, and then Alvarez, who they pay step-aside money to. So this is a very good move, a very smart move. My suggestion to him is don't get wild, because Joe Smith can crack. So don't get wild. Use your technical ability. Use your reach. Use that stuff you got from the Cuban boxing school. Because Joe Smith, he can pop and he can punch. But as far as being technical, like when he fought Bernard Hopkins, I didn't see anything that wowed me as far as his skill set. When I look at Sullivan Barrera, I know he has a skill set. So just use your skill set, because the other guy doesn't have it.
Exactly.
I want to pick up on the Miura and Berchelt fight.
Okay.
The last fight we saw Miura in, he fought a guy named Roman. I think his last name was Roman, and Miura went in there do or die. He was shot. The ninth round, after the ninth round, his coach was like, "Yo, you gotta do what you gotta do to get this dude out of here." Yeah, and from that ninth round, either eighth round or ninth round on, he threw nothing but power shots. He even hit Roman with a body shot that put him on the ground in, I think, round 10, knocked him down in the 11th. I think he got the knockout in the 12th round because he knocked him down 3 rounds in a row. With that being said, and Berchelt fought Vargas, who was shot as well, and it showed, and Berchelt beat him, Miura, that do or die, is not going to be beneficial to him in his fight. He's war-torn or battle-torn, or whatever you want to call it. I got Berchelt winning that fight and possibly by a late stoppage, mid-round late stoppage, because Miura's been in too many wars, and Berchelt's a young guy coming up in that division, and I see him getting that win, and he's fresh. He didn't really go in there with, do or die with Vargas. He fought him night. It was a rugged fight, but Vargas was taking most of the damage. I mean, and this is pretty much Berchelt's going to be playing. Miura's going to be playing in the style is going to play right into Berchelt's hands.
Yeah, and we're looking at a fight of the year candidate in this one, definitely with that Berchelt and Miura fight. So definitely be looking out for that one. As far as Barrera and Joe Smith, they tend to mention Adonis's name but not a lot for some reason. I don't know why they can't just stay on topic. Like, they don't mention Joe Smith Jr. avoiding Gavotzik, not wanting to take that fight, with a guy that only has 12 professional fights. I don't know what that's all about, though. But, they don't want to mention stuff like that about the actual topic at hand. But, we going to keep it pushing, man, We're going to keep it pushing, man. Our next topic is, let's see, we got Andre Ward. It looks like he was a no-show for the HBO Faceoff promo shoot with, how they do it, with Max Kellerman, for HBO. He was a no-show for that HBO Faceoff, and there's no plans to reschedule it. Let me get you guys' take on that as far as, there's been a lot of backlash from main events and, Kathy Duva about the no-show and saying it's damaging promotions. And because she's emotional than a motherfucker,
She's a fucking woman, man. I'll take this one. I know Bo pointed something out in the article, and in the Ring TV article that I noticed, I didn't even really notice, but I read through it. But I want to pick up on something. I'm going to let Bo pick up on that part, but I noticed something. Remember the last time Kathy Duva got emotional around this was right after Ward fought Brand. The next day they wanted to have a press conference for the fight. And he was a no-show, this and that. Well, when have you known to have a press conference the next day after a fighter has, you know what I'm saying? She's always jumping to the media, and it kind of pisses me off how mainstream media grabs onto her. It's like she's the first one. As soon as she says something, boom, mainstream runs with it. But don't nobody just give a chance to let Ward speak his side. Let alone Ward don't say anything. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. But because at the end of the day, the truth it came out in the article, but that ain't what it really stuck out in the article. You have to really look into it. She's highly emotional. As soon as she doesn't get her way, she's running to the media. They were the A side. Remind you guys, they were the A side, and Ward won that fight and made himself the A side. Now he's the A side again. And we all have known Ward has been a constant and a consistent professional when it comes to his fighting and doing everything. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass it to my partner Bo. I'm gonna let him speak on a little piece of that article that he picked out of it, and then I'm probably gonna piggyback after him. Bo?
Well, in the article it said that a source, an unnamed source, from the Ward side said apparently there was supposed to be some kind of meet and greet that took place on Saturday after the fight. And Kovalev didn't show up for that. So Andre Ward felt some kind of way. He felt like, listen, I'm not going to make no more accommodations for this guy. And he left. Now, the HBO people were furious about Andre Ward leaving. Let's make no mistake about that. Hello?
No, we're here.
Okay. So the HBO people were upset about that. But here's my thing, okay? Kathy Dube is trying to say, and I did a video about this. This is the reason why it's not getting no traction in mainstream media, him missing it, okay? One reason, of course, is because Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez was announced. That's one. But secondly, if you're going to go after Ward for that, then you also have to go after Kovalev for missing that whatever event took place on Saturday, and for his fucking tweets.
Yes.
For his you have to and go for his fucking tweets, because if I'm Andre Ward and you've been like, this has gotten beyond like the first fight when it was a fight. Kovalev been acting like a little crybaby. He's been acting like a little crybaby with his tweets. Right. I'm serious. He's been acting like that with his tweets. And everybody wants to focus on what Ward didn't do, but don't want to talk about what Kovalev did do. There's also another video that I put up where Andre Ward is talking, and he has the head of the Showtime Boxing, the head of Rock Nation Boxing, where he said people were talking about, so what's taking so long to make the fight? What was taking so long was we had to constantly convince Kathy she was no longer the A side. For months we was trying to tell this woman, you're not the A side. You're not the A side. Okay? So that's one reason. And then on top of that, let's just be honest, man. Who the fuck even cares about a face-off? We already know we got the fight. We have a date. We have we have a venue. Okay? We already know we have that. We know when they fight. We know where they fight. We know what time they fight. She's talking about something. It hurts promotion. Kathy, I have news for you. Between you and Rock Nation, neither one of you motherfuckers promote a fight right. The fuck you talking about is hurt promotion.
Yeah, I agree. HBO included.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like between you and Rock Nation, neither one of you motherfuckers know how to promote a fight. Okay? This isn't like we're talking Golden Boy. This isn't like we're talking Top Rank. They know how to promote a fight. Hell, even Eddie Hearns with the Klitschko-Joshua fight, he promoted that. They know how to promote fights. Rock Nation does a disservice to promote their fighters' fights, and Kathy Dube does too, because for all that shit for Kovalev is talking and doing, he's supposed to be a bigger star. Okay? Then on top of that, if you want to point out what a motherfucker do, because people talk about Ward's scared, okay, you want to say he's scared. 3 times. This was after Kovalev tweets. 3 times him and Ward stood face to face. 3 times Kovalev needed a fucking interpreter. You can speak English perfectly well. What you need the interpreter for? So, like I said, he didn't go to the face-off. Who gives me personally, I don't give a fuck. You know when the last face-off I watched, it was a rerun of Floyd versus Miguel Cotto that they played a rerun because a movie had ran. You know how when you're watching the movie on HBO and you still got like 20 minutes left. That's the only reason why I watched that motherfucker. That's it. Nobody. I don't give a fuck about a face-off. I really don't. I really don't even see the purpose of the shit. So nobody cares about it. Those who are only talking about it are doing it because Andre Ward didn't go. Because like I said, they want to ignore the fact that Cole didn't go to this thing on Saturday. So that's why it's not getting no traction. That's why I personally don't give a fuck.
Let me say this. Let me piggyback on him. Actually, what I read or what I read on these articles, War was there first. One time, and he was ready for ready to do the
because Jim Lampley talked to him at the fight. Remember, Jim Lampley talked to War at the fight. They interviewed him at the fight.
Yeah, Kovalev was supposed to be a part of that segment right there.
Yeah, right, and then show up. So come on, man, stop putting on War, man. It's soon as Catchy do with rush to the media. Hey, the proof has been shown that War has constantly been telling the truth the whole time, and he don't have to say anything. It sucks because what does the media do? They run with the first negative thing. That makes War didn't show to the and that's news. That's news. But
this is a situation where the media really didn't go at it like that about it because they know. See, this is why I say there's certain things they know they can and they can't. Like they couldn't really go at it like that, like they wanted to. They might have mentioned it or you heard whispers of it, but they didn't go like full barrage on it because if they do, they have to point out, well, Kovalev was supposed to be at the fight standing there with Ward when Jim Lampley was going to talk to him and be like, okay, where was he at? So you can't talk about one without bringing up the other. That's the only reason why. The only reason why they're not blowing it up. They mention it like, in hindsight, but it's not one of the things where they did, you know what I'm saying? In passing. It's not one of the things that they just, like when I heard, like, check it out. Matter of fact, when I heard about it, when it happened, I heard about it from one or two mainstream media outlets, and very few social media outlets said the shit in passing. Because again, you even the article with Steve Kemp put in there. You can't talk about one without talking about. That's why they put in the article. Well, Kovalev didn't show, and they put it at the bottom too, so you couldn't really see it. But if you read
or they put it in the middle of the paragraph in like one or two sentences, and that's it.
Right. So So that's why I'm telling you, it's not. It didn't get no traction at all. Period. Like Kathy Duber wanted it to get because of the fact if you dig into it, you're like, well, Kovalev didn't show. What happened? Oh well, yeah. Shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
I just want to say there are no immediate plans to reschedule the face-off. I was actually looking forward to it because of the animosity between these two that seems to be there. It would be interesting to see those two face-to-face and going back and forth as far as, after some of the comments that have been made by both camps, especially Kovalev. In Kovalev's case, I got to see what he do in somebody's face like that,
No,
see
man, he's calm
and see if it remains calm and situated, that's definitely something I would want to see. That's why I was looking forward to the face-off, but it's not looking like we're going to get to see that, unfortunately. But, it is what it is. The fight is already there, and, for those that are interested, it's going to sell itself, so it doesn't necessarily need the extra promotion for a second fight.
Let me ask this question. Does anybody think, like for me, I thought it was strange that HBO didn't try to reschedule it. Do anybody find that strange?
You know what? Considering I think there's enough time to, but I don't know if there was I guess it was that was the only time they either scheduled because of being in training camp right now. So that might be another issue as far as the reschedule. They were both in Vegas for the HBO pay-per-view, Canelo and Chavez. So they both had a reason to be there and to do the face-off in Vegas. But now they're both back in training camp and preparing for their fight. Their rematch coming up. So I guess that's why there's no immediate plans to do anything. I could see them possibly doing something, as far as, there's a fight coming up this weekend we're going to be talking about later in New York on HBO. that they could possibly meet up that if they were really talking about rescheduling. You know, I can see that as a possibility, but, you know, who knows? Now, what do you guys think about that?
Say it again.
As far as rescheduling for this weekend in New York with, on the Terence Crawford Diaz card, you know, them doing the face-off there.
They can, but like I said, I mean, actually, him not going makes you more curious about what's going to happen to the fight, to be honest with you. Because you can clearly see there's a different tone with this fight than it was in the first one. Like, there's animosity, serious animosity there. So, I mean, they could. I don't know.
Yeah, which is why I think that the face-off would have been good, you know. But with that said, we're going to jump into our next topic. Actually, this was something that Bernard put out earlier in the week, you know, one of his posts in our groups that we be in. The World Boxing Super Series that's being held or hosted by Richard Schaefer in his promotional banner has decided the weight classes that they'll be doing for their tournament. And those weight classes will actually be the super middleweight weight class and cruiserweight. Hello?
Yo.
Okay. Yeah, they'll be doing the tournament at a super middleweight weight class and cruiserweight. And like we said previously on another show, the tournament is going to be with the value of $50 million to the winner. It's going to be, I'm not sure how that prize money is going to be split up, but there's, you know, $50 million at stake. And with the super middleweight class and cruiserweight division, there's definitely a lot of competition right now. It's just a matter of seeing who's actually signed, you know, who actually decides to join and get involved in the tournament. Let me get your thoughts on that initially, Bernard, as far as the tournament, the weight class selection.
I was cool with the cruiserweight division or even the super middleweight division. I just think those classes, those are up there in weight. And what I mean by that is 168 pounds and 200 pounds. I would like to wish to see in the junior welterweight division, the 140-pound division, be one of the first classes to do it. And you could do the super middleweight or the cruiserweight. The reason why I want the junior welterweight, because I felt that's a division that you could really build a new top fighter out of it. And I don't want to say a top fighter, but a top contender, because as of right now, you got Escandon, Crawford, Rances as the three top junior welterweights. If I'm missing anybody, let me know. Or you can go and put Felix Diaz, because he goes from 140 to 147, so that's 4. Broner, he's at 147. He ain't come back to 140. I don't know what the deal is, but I would like to wish that division was in there to pull up a top contender, hopefully like that. Now, I digress on that part. As for the 168-pound division and the cruiserweight division, I would like to see how the divisions play off. The cruiserweight is the division right for the heavyweight division, so that's a division that's going to be a lot of action and possibly some knockouts in that division. 168-pound division, that's a good division as well. We already got champions in there such as James Miguel. But my only issue is those that signed up and how that promotion, how that's going to run with the ranking system as well as promoters being involved in this tournament. And that's the only issue I'm kind of concerned with, that, to see how it's going to play out. And is it going to be smooth sailing? Does Richard Schaefer takes over the promotion in terms of the fighters and the tournament and everything? And what I mean by that is, if a fighter wins, say for instance, if Golden Boy put a fighter in, and Al Heyman got a fighter in, with Richard Schaefer's association with Al Heyman, and his issues with Golden Boy prior, will that have an effect on the tournament? That's all. I want to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me get your thoughts on the tournament selection as far as the weight classes, and what do you think is going to happen as far as possibilities as far as entries? Because we haven't heard any names that have signed up for it yet.
You're talking the cruiserweight. You said the cruiserweight division.
168. Yeah.
Super middleweight.
Super middleweight division. So just the cruiserweight and the super middleweight division.
Yeah. That's the division start off.
Oh, okay. The cruiserweight division would be a very, very interesting division because you have a lot of different promoters. You have Alexander Usyk, who is top ranked. You have Denis Lebedev, who's with I think he's with some Russian promoter. Then you got Murat Gassiev, Tony Bellew, Shumanov, who is acting like a chicken shit and don't want to fight Dorstikos. But the cruiserweight division, that would be an interesting division. And the thing about it is, some of those fights, with the exception of maybe Bob Arum, and I actually believe with the amount of what's the word I'm looking for, belief in Usyk, he might be willing to do that. Bellew, I believe, is probably, I think Bellew dropped his belt. I think he went on the heavyweight.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's at the heavyweight.
Yeah, so he's at the heavyweight division. So that'll be interesting. Now, the super middleweight one, again, that's another one that's interesting. You have James DeGale. You got Gilberto Ramirez, who, again, is top ranked. You got Zagi. And the WBC is vacant right now. So that's another interesting division because Kobe got Colin Smith, got Andre Dirrell. Like I can actually see movement more at the super middleweight division than the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
Most of these guys are under Al Heyman. I would, now there's one name I would love to see in that mix with the super middleweight division. I would love to see Jesse Hart.
Yo, I was thinking the same thing. I
would love to see Jesse Hart in the mix of that division. But the cruiserweight division is more possible because of the fact you have a lot of Al Heyman guys and you have a lot of UK guys, and I think those fights can be made. But the only wild card would be Gilberto Ramirez because he's with Top Rank, and we know how that WBO is with Top Rank.
It's Jesse Hart.
Jesse Hart, he's ranked number 2 by the WBO.
Yeah, but he signed with Top Rank as well.
Yeah, and that's a guy I would love to see him get into the mix. And that might be a reason why
out there on the smart, man. He needs to start, doing some co-promotional things as far as landing his fighters off the other promoters, to keep them and to keep them paid, ego aside, business is business, and you got to keep the fighters taken care of, and especially for a prospect and a guy like Jesse Hart. Why hold him? He hasn't fought in quite some time. He hasn't been that active. Because of the freeze on Top Rank with HBO and them not being on televised networks at the moment. So they definitely need to do something just to keep them busy and keep their fighters visible. Especially top prospects like that.
Right, I agree.
But I'm definitely excited about it as far as the divisions. I think cruiserweight is very deep outside of Usyk being, the kingpin of the division.
Who?
Usyk.
How many belts you got at cruiserweight?
What's up?
How many belts does he have at cruiserweight?
Just one, but he's still the top dog at cruiser to me.
How do you think a guy with one belt is a top dog when you had a guy like this?
I don't see anybody touching him.
Okay, but wait a minute. After that last performance, you don't see nobody beating him?
He beat the guy.
Okay, wait a minute. I never said that. I said after the last performance.
Yes, I still think he beats Miura.
After that last performance. After that last performance, you don't think nobody can beat Usyk?
At cruiserweight, no. I don't think none of the other champions beat him still after that last performance. I don't think Lebedev beats him. I don't think Garcia beats him. I don't think whoever wins the WBC title beats him. I mean, Miras Briedis probably has the best chance stylistically. You know, he'll be fighting. I actually think that's who they fought. Well, they fought for the WBC, Briedis and Marco Huck. So that's who the WBC belt holder is. But I actually think Briedis is probably the one that gives them the most trouble. But no, I don't think any of the other cruiserweight champs beat him.
But how do you crown? But wait, how do you crown him the man of the division? And you had a guy who was holding 2 belts.
Who's holding 2 belts?
No, I said you got a guy who was holding 2 belts. So how do you crown him the man all of a sudden? Why?
He shouldn't be holding any belts right now.
No, I agree with you. And wait a minute, if the WBA belt was on the line, Garcia would have been holding 2 belts. But again, how do you crown the dude who's only holding 1 belt when you have multiple champions? How is he crowned the man of the division?
You know what you're seeing when you look at certain things, man. You know who's good and who's the top of the division, man. And
I could be looking.
That's what I'm saying.
I could be looking at a 6-foot bitch or a 5'5" bitch. The only way I'm gonna know whose pussy is better is if I fuck him. So how can you sit there and you tell me just by looking at this motherfucker he's the man?
Hey, I gave you my explanation.
When you have
I gave you my explanation, and you're gonna keep asking the same question over, man. I told you.
You're right. You absolutely right. You know, motherfucker that believes that can whoop everybody. You're right. I apologize. Twan is having a casual moment. I get it. I understand.
Anything else you'd like to add on to that vote before we go into our next topic?
I guess he got muted.
Oh, that's right. I can't hear you.
Boy, you know, they drug Obama out of office because of shit like this.
That's coming up a little bit too much, man. Like I said, you guys bring up the wrong things, but you don't let Joe Smith avoid a 12-fight fighter, and the one being the guy that kept that fight from happening because he thought he was A-side and deserved more money. So, you know, you guys don't want to bring up the obvious facts, but he's still chickasing. It's all Adonis' fault, as usual. But that's how it goes. Like 2K said last week, exercise some discernment, fellas. Discernment. Big up 2K for that word. Big up for that word, 2K, because you added to my.
Yeah, you gonna use that word to justify your bullshit.
Right. Discernment. Well, we got a big weekend of title fights, man, coming up this weekend. Well, actually, before we get into that, I actually want to let Bedard get in and do his thing, with the Fuckery of Boxing Award. Let's go ahead and get that going, man. What you got for us this week, bro?
Drum roll, and the winner of the Fuckery of Boxing Award goes to the WBC for making Klitschko the number 2 ranking after he has taken 2 losses to Joshua and Tyson Fury. We spoke on it earlier, but they get the award.
I could definitely dig it. The Sullivan, controversial as usual. Yeah, we've I can't say this. Well, this is actually a first for me, man. I won't say this one wasn't beyond them because this is a first for me. I've never seen anything like this, but this is some stuff straight out of Great White Hype. Except for, Klitschko does have a resume. You know, he does have accolades. So, you know, that's the only thing. But, you know, taking two losses in a row and still taking a plus 10 spot jump in the rankings.
Right.
Never. All right, so I guess we're gonna get into breaking down some of these fights, man. Let's see, we got starting off. I guess you guys want to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis versus Liam Walsh. I guess we could go into that one first for his IBF 130-pound title. That's going to be taking place in the UK early in the day next week. Let me get you guys' thoughts on that fight as far as who you guys have winning, predictions, breaking it down. I'll go ahead and give it to both.
About the what fight is it again?
Tank Davis versus Walsh.
Very good fight. I think Tank Davis is doing good by going over to the UK and getting some of that exposure. But at the same time, Walsh is taller than Tank Davis. He has a longer arm reach than Tank Davis, so he has some things that he can use. The problem is the level of competition Walsh has faced is very, very limited. Now, that's not to say Tank Davis has faced great opposition either, because Jose Uzcategui was able to outbox him. He just gave it up. If Walsh can do the same thing, which is outbox him and do it for 12 rounds, he'll win that fight. Because the one thing about Tank Davis is you can keep him at the end of a jab. He's not a guy who's going to come in and try to, you know what I'm saying, go on you and everything like that. So it's a very interesting fight. It's good exposure for Tank Davis, and if he looks good in this fight, that's very good, especially if he looks good in the UK. That'll get them people interested in to find out who he is. So it's a good move, very good fight. He'll have his hands full. I'm picking Tank only because I'm not sold on Walsh. I don't think Walsh can box like that for 12 rounds, and I think Tank will be able to get to him. And if he gets to him, the one thing about Tank is if he can get you, he's going to let them hands go. So, you know, we'll see.
All right. B-Nard, let me get your thoughts on the fight.
You know what? I'm watching this fight closely. I'm going to be definitely watching this fight closely. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I think Tank should have been in the UK a month in advance before this fight. He's been in Baltimore training. He went to Vegas before for this last week. It was been in Vegas training. I'm really going to be concerned about this fight, because I'm not saying Tank Davis can't get Walsh out of there. I can see it. I think it's going to come down to a decision, and possibly depending on how his body gets adjusted to that climate in such a short period of time, and how he fights, it's going to play a major role. And what I mean by how he fights, when we saw when he fought Pedraza, when he fought him, he relied heavily on his power. And that, at times in the fight, you saw Tank Davis gassed out. I will hopefully think Tank Davis will come into this fight and that his corner, and even Mayweather, will tell him, pace himself well, don't rely on your power in the beginning, break Walsh down, and then if the knockout presents itself, go for it. I would think he would need to go for the knockout in this fight, because he is fighting on foreign soil, being that he's in the UK, and he would need to get Walsh out of there. But if it goes through decision, it will be Walsh. But with that being said, I'm picking Tank Davis late round stoppage. That's my final. That's my pick. But the rest of that I spoke about earlier was just my assessment on the fight. But I will definitely be watching this fight closely.
This is definitely an interesting fight, because like Bo was saying, Pedraza was able to outbox Tank Davis for quite some time throughout that fight, until Tank was able to get to him and unleash. The bad thing is Pedraza's movement going backwards has always sucked. As our boy TK, likes to say, he can't fight moving backwards. As far as Walsh, he actually has I would say his foot movement is a little bit better than Pedraza's, and he's a little bit more comfortable as far as countering, and being on the outside. So, I think that's what makes it a little bit more interesting, just because I think he has better footwork than Pedraza as far as being able to move around, on his back foot comfortably and be comfortable while doing it. But I still think overall, I think Tank is gonna, that's a little pit bull right there, man, and he's gonna get to him eventually and hurt him. He's like they don't call him Tank for a reason, man. He definitely gonna get to him. I agree with Bernard's assessment of it probably being closer to a later round stoppage. I think it's going to be more of a build-up accumulation of punishment that's going to get to Walsh, and then he's ultimately going to fold later because of that. We're going to see Tank get to him in spurts as opposed to him, going after him early, even though he said he wants to get him out there early as possible.
Question, a real quick question. I don't mean to cut you. Bo, what's your assessment on him not being in the UK earlier? Because I know you spoke about how fighters should have been in. If they're fighting in a different country, different time zone, they need to be there at least 3 to 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks in advance.
Yeah,
could that play a role?
Yes, it can play a role. Now, some people say, well, Tank is young, he can adjust. Yeah, well, that's true, but the problem still is, though, you want to allow your body to get used to the change, and the way the weather is over there is different. The food over there is different. Just everything. The change in altitude, the change in climate. Just everything. You want to let your body get used to everything over there, and that can take some time. Him being young, maybe he can overcome it, but I guarantee you, if because I think like Earl Spencer's they're over that way right now.
No,
because they know
they're not there yet. They were in Dallas as of last night at the UFC, so I don't know if they.
Yeah, but I know, but I remember Derek James saying our last week here before we head to the UK. So you know what I'm saying. So they're gonna go pretty early because you want to. It's gonna take about a week for your body to adjust. It's definitely going to take about a week for your body to adjust. So it could hurt him. It very well could hurt him. And I wouldn't be surprised if it did. The only way we'll know for certain is around about that 4th or 5th round. If his tongue is lagging, that's when we'll know. That's when we will know.
All right. So we got our prediction in for that one. I guess we're going to go into one of the other title fights this weekend, which is Gary Russell Jr. defending his 126-pound featherweight WBC title against Oscar Escandon, I believe, in D.C. Let me get you guys' predictions on this fight. How you guys see it breaking down? Russell's had a lot of inactivity. The injury was injured. This fight was put off twice because of injury. One time because of Russell, the second time because of Escandon injured his back. So this fight has definitely been put off for quite some time. Let me get you guys' thoughts on how you think it will play out finally. I guess I'll start off with Bernard on this one.
Gary Russell, you said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, long layoff. From both sides. Yeah. Gary Russell has been in the gym. He hasn't, but he hasn't really been focused. Well, I'm not gonna say he's not focused on himself, but he's also been focusing on his family, getting his little brother involved in and everything to the sport, training him. I'm gonna say this. I think he still has it out. He wants that revenge fight against Lomachenko. I still think he's gonna come in there aggressive, use his speed, be aggressive, impose his will on his opponent, and get him out of there. I'm gonna call this probably a mid-round topic, maybe a knockout because he does got power in both of his hands. But I still can see it going the distance. But I still got Gary Russell. So with that fight, I don't see his. What was his injury with his opponent though? Did they state why he was injured?
It's back. He injured his back.
Let's see how that plays a role. How his back plays a role with him in that fight going around, and expect Gary Russell to attack the body too in that fight.
All right. Well, let me get your thoughts on the fight prediction. How you see it playing out?
I see Gary Russell winning this fight. The guy he's fighting, I don't see him posing a big threat to Gary Russell, to be honest with you. I think Gary Russell, what's the guy's name again? He got that funny name. What's that dude's name?
Escandon.
The guy's name is, huh?
Escandon.
Right. Okay, Escandon. Yeah, this is just to stay busy, a fight for him to be busy. So I could see him winning this fight. The real thing for Gary Russell, like somebody mentioned, and that was you, Bernard, about him fighting Lomachenko. If he wants to fight Lomachenko, he fight Lomachenko. But I'm kind of tired of hearing him saying, either go and fight Lomachenko or stop talking about it. And that's my thing. Stop talking about it. Go and fight Lomachenko. I'm tired of hearing him saying it. I'm really tired of hearing him saying it. I really am. Fight Lomachenko or fight one of the other title holders. But I'm just tired of hearing him. I mean, dog, you've been talking about it since he lost.
Well, we know Am. Can we be honest about Am? Kind of possibly not going. He got.
Everyone has nothing to lose considering Lomachenko won the first fight against him. So I guess I definitely think it'll be a better fight second time around. But
well, no, right, it'll be a better fight. And wait a minute, trust me, Bob Arum will have no problem making that fight with Gary Russell because Lomachenko beat him once already. He wouldn't have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is though, I don't remember them talking about the fight. But my thing is, he's been talking about this since he lost. Okay, at some point, we got to be like, yo, dog, I'm tired of hearing you say that, man. Go fight. Either you go fight him or fight one of the other champions. Like, there's been no movement with him and one of the other champions in your own division, and there's been no movement to say, okay, well, since these guys are gonna fight me, yo, I'm gonna go see if I can fight Lomachenko right quick. Then I'll come back. So either, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man, stop talking about it. I've been hearing you talk about this since you lost. Stop talking about it. Go fight him. Go fight him.
All right. With that said, I'm gonna give my prediction. I'm gonna go with a unanimous decision, man. Although Escandon was put down in his last fight against Robinson Castellanos, who made your boy Yuriorkis Gamboa say no mas, papi.
Oh shit! I'm gone, man.
No mas, papi. No mas, papi.
I ain't finna take this
Since but he was put on the campus by Castellanos, but he did come back to knock Castellanos out in that fight. So, I mean, he does have some power himself at 126. The skills, of course, Gary Russell does have the better skill set. So I do expect him to be able to time him and be able to use his speed to pretty much keep Escandon off of him. What I've noticed with Russell in his last couple of fights is, something he didn't do earlier in his career because of his hand injuries. He's been sitting down on his punches a lot more in his last couple of fights and getting motherfuckers out of there. He already has the hand speed. So, what they say already is the punch you don't see that gets you out of there. And, you add a little bit more power onto it, with him actually sitting down on it. It makes for intriguing, scenario where he might be able to get Escandon out of there. But we'll see how it plays out, man. He's been inactive, so I think he may get the rounds in and just go for the UD. The ring rust may play a factor to where he can only get a decision, which is why I picked him to win by UD in this fight. One of the other fights we have coming up this weekend is our boy Andre Dirrell. He's fighting for IBF interim super middleweight title against Jose Uzcategui. I don't know if we get that last name right, but that's going to be on the undercard of the Gary Russell fight. Let me get you guys' predictions on that fight, man. I've actually been seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of back and forth about this fight. Well, not a lot, but I've just been seeing some interesting dialogue about it recently. Let me get you guys' thoughts on that fight, starting off with Bo.
It's actually good to see him back in the ring, man. We ain't seen Andre, right? We ain't seen Andre in the ring in a while. I actually want to say something, man, but I'm going to try to be nice.
They know that mute button is right around the corner. Is that what it is?
No. It ain't that. You know what? Fuck it. Somebody wanted to say something to one of our brethren on the page. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go on and say it. But yeah, it's good to see the Andre busy. It's good to see him busy. Hope he can stay busy this year. Good stay busy fight. I can't see whether this guy can give Andre Dirrell trouble. But then again, I don't want to talk bad about the Dirrell brothers because there's one Dirrell brother out there that would try to make a bet with you if you say something bad about his brother.
Oh man.
But that was for the Kal Smith fight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I just, what? I want them to stay busy. I like right now you have a vacant belt out there. So I think Anthony Dirrell is going to be fighting Kal Smith for that vacant belt. But Andre needs to get himself in the mix also as well. And because of right now would be a great time for Andre to win and then beat Jose and then go after James DeGale. That'd be a perfect time for him to do that. Go right after James DeGale because I don't know what that fight from Jack Bondu did to him. So, the guy he's fighting is rated number 1 by the IBF. But if Andre Dirrell can come, this is why you got to stay busy because I don't know what he has lost from himself not being active. He might have lost something for himself not being active. So that's why you got to stay busy. But he should get past this. I think out of the two fighters, he's the better skill fighter. He has the more experience. So he should know how to get past this. And when he do, right away, look to fight James DeGale because he's ripe for the pickings right now.
All right, Bernard, let me get your thoughts on the fight and prediction.
I got Anthony Dirrell by unanimous decision. Don't really know much about the other fighter, but I know Andre is very motivated. We already spoke to him on this twice on here and recently a couple weeks ago. So that's my pick. And I just see him going there doing what he's doing, getting like you said with Gary Russell, getting the rounds in from this long layoff. I see him doing the same thing unless he decides to get him out there in the late rounds. But I see him getting the rounds in. I totally agree with both. Go after DeGale because we ain't even heard from him since he got his teeth knocked out of his mouth from that fight against Jack. So go for it. I got him unanimous decision. Fine.
All right. I mean, I've been seeing some back and forth as far as people saying this is actually going to be a a tougher fight for Dirrell than people are letting on. I mean, he's faced guys. You know, this Uzcategui. Can't pronounce his last name, so excuse me if I'm messing it up. You know, he's fought at middleweight. You know, he's fought guys like Porky Medina. You know, who gave James DeGill a lot of problems in their fight. His lone loss is to Matt Korobov. So, I mean, I think Dirrell should be able to outbox this guy using his movement. Of course, Uzcategui is a suppressor guy. He does have a lot of power, you know, 22 knockouts out of his 26 victories. So, you know, he does like to pressure you. High volume guy from what I've heard. So I could only imagine what this fight with Porky Medina is like. I'm actually gonna have to try and check that one out on YouTube if they got video of it. But I think Dirrell should be able to pull out a UD in this fight, man, and set up that rematch with James Earl. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys one question. Just something I want to throw in there. I don't know if you want to talk about it or not. Do you think Erickson Lubin is ready to fight Jamal?
Not at all.
Jamel, I mean, not Jamal, Jamel. Jamel Charlo.
Not at all. I don't think so.
Wow, that's you know what, Bo? Ooh. I don't want to say it'll turn into a J-Rock situation, but I don't want to say he'll get knocked out, but he could possibly get beat. But then again, though, wow. But we've seen Jamel defensive skills tend to go down a little bit since he left Ronnie Shields. So it may play beneficial to Lubin. But that's a good question. But I definitely that is a very good question.
I don't think Lubin has been in there with the caliber of competition that Jamel has been in there yet. I mean, you know, he's faced guys like Martin Rosen, who I think is, I mean, people won't give him credit for it, but that's a tough motherfucker right there. I mean, he's given Lara trouble twice. I mean, he gave I think Charlo beat him easier than Lara did, you know. That's just my assessment on it. So I definitely don't think Lubin is ready. They need to give him a couple more fights against some higher caliber guys, or just somebody else in the top 154. I say even a Willie Nelson type. You know what I'm saying? That would be a good test for him to see if he should step up to that for that shot against Charlo. But I don't think right now they need to pursue that fight. He's still in the prospect phase to me, even though he's the number one contender in the WBC.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting.
Bernard brought up another interesting thing, to us in the chat. It's looking like Carl Frampton is moving up to 130. I guess the trilogy with Leo Santa Cruz was a no-go, and now Frampton is deciding to test his luck at 130. I wonder what this is about.
But it's kind of funny.
This is about he's going to fight. He's going to try to get a big money fight with Lomachenko. I guarantee you, he's going to try to get a big money fight with Lomachenko.
So right.
Supposedly they're going to fight Orlando Salido, and then he's going to try to get a big fight with him too.
Also, too, the WBA ranked him number 2. Yeah, this is coming up the heels that the Rigo said he might move to 118 or 126.
Right, yeah, right, exactly.
So,
So being number 2 at by the WBA,
yeah,
he's looking at facing Jezreel Corrales.
That's a good fight. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. And that's a fight that if Corrales is smart, you do it in the UK, he'll make money there because of Carl Frampton's status. So, yeah, that's a good fight.
Yeah. Also, Corrales is with the Golden Boy now, so, they definitely, they have some ties over there in the UK with putting, Jorge Linares over there, fighting in the UK for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely is a fight I think they can make. They've had some. I guess I heard something about Al Heyman giving Oscar De La Hoya a hug recently. Like they had mended fences, and didn't have any issues. So we may see some collaboration, a lot more collaboration between the two. Even though we've seen Amir Khan fight and Canelo, so we may see more of them putting their fighters against each other, which is a good thing. I just don't know what I see else for Frampton at 130. A possible fight against Tank Davis if he's, that could be interesting. Another fight that can be made with Tank being with Al Heyman. A UK fight as well for money. I'm not sure Tank. I don't know. That actually be a pretty tough fight for Tank right now. Even though he did beat Pedraza, I definitely think Carl Frampton is a lot more skilled than Jose Pedraza was. But it should be interesting to see what happens to him at 130. Man, what do you guys think of his prospects at 130 outside the Corrales fight, which it seems to be the immediate one with the WBA?
Well, you got Corrales. You could make the case he could probably fight the winner of Takashi Miura and Berchelt. And like I said, Lomachenko. Like, there are fights that could be made for him at the division. Like, I could actually see Floyd Mayweather trying to fight him back again in the UK because I believe Tank Davis with the way that Carl Frampton fight, that would be a good fight for Tank Davis. Carl Frampton is not going to be extremely tall. I mean, Carl Frampton doesn't move all that great. I mean, but like he's not like known to be a mover. Tank Davis probably is more athletic than him, so that would be a good fight. Of course, Lomachenko would definitely be a money fight. Yasser Corrales, you can sell that over in the UK, and like I said, the winner of Takashi Miura and Miguel Berchelt would be ideal because I think from a skill set level, he could probably, do pretty well, if not beat one of them. So it's not a terrible move on his part, but it does deny us the possibilities of what we could have saw if he'd stayed at 126 with, him and Shelby, which we thought that was going to be the next UK big fight, or him and Gary Russell Jr. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by this move, considering he'd be a smaller 130 guy. Like Tank is. Tank's a small 130 guy. Frampton would be even smaller 130 guy. I think. And won't carry any power up there really. So I mean, it's definitely an interesting move. I don't know if there was any weight concerns about him getting to 126. He's only had a couple of fights there. So I'm definitely surprised by him moving to 130. I'm not sure what the urge was for him to move there. But unless, like Bo was saying, immediate fight with Lomachenko was looming, I can understand that. But outside of that, I definitely don't understand it. I can't see any big money happening with Lomachenko unless it's in the UK as well, and they put it on pay-per-view or something over there, on Sky Sports or something like that to make it worth their while. Lomachenko has his high-ass guarantee, and, HBO had to put out some money to Frampton, who's been getting paid for fighting Leo, these last couple of fights, pretty heftily. So HBO had to put some money up there to make that thing happen, But yeah, we still got one more fight to go over this weekend, man. The big one, Terence Crawford and Felix Diaz. Let me get you guys' take on this fight. Man. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start off with Bo. Well, Bernard, let me get your prediction on it, man.
Man. Both are technically sound. Crawford could fight orthodox or southpaw. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a close fight. I really believe it's going to be a close fight. But I bet you any kind of money, Crawford's going to be switching between orthodox and southpaw, to give Felix Diaz different looks. And whichever look that tends to give him the benefit over Diaz, that's the one he's going to go with. And my prediction is Crawford, split decision.
You said the decision?
Yes, Crawford by split decision. Decision.
Okay, cool. I could definitely feel that one. Bo, let me get your thoughts on that. Let me get your prediction as well on the fight and how you see it playing out.
Crawford gonna get his ass beat. Crawford, you know what? Listen, Crawford ain't nothing but an overhyped ass motherfucker from fucking Nebraska. That's all he is. Who the fuck he be? What the fuck he do? Who the fuck he be? What the fuck he do? Beating Hank Lundy makes you the man? I'm just fucking around, y'all. But I think Terence Crawford has turned the corner. He said that his toughest fight was the Gamboa fight in the wars. We saw that. And every fight since then has been a little easy. Here's the thing with Terence Crawford. I did a breakdown about this fight, and I put it up. The thing with Crawford is when he switched righty to lefty, he does it one or two ways. Either A, number one, he does it at what I call safe distance. So when he's switching, you can't catch him. Or B, he does it right after he does a combination. So he hits you with a combination, and after he finishes the combination, he's already made the switch. So he's already in the stance. Okay? I think that both of these guys have very good ring IQ, but I think when it comes to adaptability, Terence Crawford adjusts faster than Felix Diaz. Felix Diaz adjusts, but I think Terence Crawford can make that adjustment like right on the spot during the round, where Felix Diaz will probably make that adjustment in the next round. All right? Take nothing away from Felix Diaz. He is a younger version of Yuriakis Gamboa. The difference is he doesn't have the hand speed, but he is more technically sound. But he's a dog. He's a guy that can come at you so many ways. He could try to box with you, or he could try to press you, and it's controlled pressure, so it's not reckless abandon pressure. All right? So it's going to be a very good fight. The sad thing, and this is what's really sad, is Felix Diaz is a tough fucking competitor. Like, Felix Diaz is a fighter that, for all accounts, Terence Crawford beating Felix Diaz should, kind of make you really want to pay attention to Terence Crawford. But the problem is he's not sold to the casuals like that, so nobody, and the us hardcores, we look at that, we like, yo, he beat this dude right here who is he's a dog. Like, Felix Diaz is a dog. If you watched him when he fought Lamar Peterson, you watched him when he fought Tony Vasquez, like, to show you how mentally tough this dude is, he won a fucking gold medal out of the Dominican Republic. This is a place that's not known for boxers, okay? If you're not mentally tough, you got to do some shit like that. So, I like the fight. I think the biggest obstacle for Felix Diaz, too, is fighting at 140. So I don't know how his body will do being, go 12 hard rounds at 140. So, excellent, good fight. And props to Terence Crawford, because this is another one of those high-risk, low-reward type fights. It's high risk because Felix Diaz is just that good. And it's low reward because don't nobody know who Felix Diaz is. So even if Terence Crawford wins, guess what people to say? Well, who is Felix Diaz?
Yeah.
And that's sad. I mean, that's sad because this guy is really that good.
Yeah. Felix Diaz is definitely a tough foe. Trained by what's his name? Joel Diaz.
Joel Diaz, yep.
So he's definitely well schooled. Fighting out of the Dominican Republic, won a gold medal, as Bo said. Not an easy.
The Dominican Republic, dog. The Dominican Republic, dog.
And his one loss to Lamont Peterson, as controversial as they come, it's definitely one of those. So it's technically a guy that many think should be undefeated. He went in there and knocked out a bigger guy in Sammy Vasquez, after Lamont Peterson. He said he wasn't going to leave shit up to the judges. You know what I'm saying? The dick him down no more. The sad thing is, if you look at Diaz's skill set, he is actually a slickster, just like Crawford. Like, that is really the style that I'm more familiar with from, as opposed to this style he's been in lately, being more aggressive. He's actually more of a slick mover, so I definitely think it's going to be a game of chess. Man, people going to be definitely trying to feed me my crow on this one. But, I'm always the guy that go after the underdog anyway. And,
that explains why you always picking a dynasty.
I don't know. I don't know. I've always liked him, man. Even what I'm saying? Like, I picked him in the Chad Dawson fight too, man. Like, when he knocked him out. Nobody's expected him to win shit. That's why I really like him. Like, he wasn't expected to be no champion. I mean, that's the real shit. Nobody ever expected him to win no title. So, I mean, that's why I really be bigger up on him, for him actually being able to be a lineal champion at one point. When nobody expected that from him. So that's why I really be like, cool. Like, I still support him because of that. But people are thinking Crawford might go in there and cream Diaz. Man, Diaz is fought at 147. You guys got to remember that. He's fought against bigger guys. Guys big as Crawford already. Long as Crawford is already, and Vasquez, guys like Adrian Granados, he's fought some pretty tough characters, pressure fighters, and Granados, who, high volume guy. Barrera, he's been in there with some tough characters. So, I definitely think he's going to bring his A game. He's been waiting for an opportunity like this, and I think he's coming to take it. I got him winning by I'm gonna go with a split decision in the upset. Yep.
Well, you calling for the upset now?
What? Yeah,
you calling for the upset?
Yeah. I said I was done doubting Terence Crawford after the what's his name, the post. Like, I didn't have any more doubts about him. But like I said, I'm just that much of a believer in Diaz. I just don't think people have had a chance to see his best because people haven't been fighting him, for the most part. So, I definitely think we're going to get to see the best out of Diaz, man. So that's my thing, man. I guess there's maybe one other fight we can go into. I don't know if y'all want to or not. It's actually one of your boys, Rances Barthelemy.
Bernard, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rances Barthelemy. He'll be fighting Kiryl Relikh this weekend coming up as well.
Right.
In WBA 140 title eliminator. And, since we just got off the topic of Crawford, this is like probably one of the other few fights that I'd like to see Crawford fight at 140. Like him, like Barthelemy and Granados are like the only other two fights I'd rather, I'd like to see Crawford fight at 140 if he's going to stay down there, before going up to 147. Granados and Rances Barthelemy just because of Barthelemy's size, With that said, let me get Bo's prediction on this fight. How do you see it playing out?
Rances Barthelemy, I think he's not just trying to go in there and look good. I think he's trying to go in there and make a statement. I've been talked to him a couple of times. I've been watching the way that they've been working out over there at Solid's gym. So they're extremely focused, but at the same time, laid back. So I think he's just looking to make a statement. He wants an opportunity to fight for a title, and I don't think he cares who it is, whether it's Terence Crawford or Julius Ndongo. He wants the opportunity to fight for a title. So he's ready. He's been working out. My issue is I hope he hasn't been overtraining, because he's been training a lot. So I hope he hasn't been overtraining, because that could hurt you. But it's a very interesting fight, because now he's being in the mix at 140. And ironically, the thing about it is probably by the time he gets up there, Terence Crawford may have already moved on to 147. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, this fight is actually for a title eliminator. To face Julius Ndongo, who's actually already been mandated by the IBF to send that
fight limited. Yeah.
So doing that whole what do you call it?
What'd you say?
No, what do you call it? What's the IBF doing?
Stop unification blocking.
Yeah. That's basically what they be doing, man. But do you know anything as far as about Barthelemy and Kiryl Relikh? Bernard?
I'm going with Barthelemy. That's the pick. I'm picking. I haven't heard nothing much about the other guy, but yeah, I do agree with Bo. I know what Bo is saying. He has been in there training consistently, so I'm looking for him to do what he's gonna do and get him out of there.
All right. Hopefully he don't come in there. He's from Cuba as well. Hopefully he don't come in there with no fucked up haircut like Uneski Gonzalez.
Too late, dog. He got that blue haircut.
I know Barthelemy be doing some weird shit too. Yeah. Oh man,
it's too late, dog. And because his brother had made his blonde. So as you know what, as a matter of fact, I'ma ask him, and I know he said it one time before, blue hair don't care, but I'ma ask him if he gonna actually come to the fight with that. But I think he is. But he's ready. No, you think I'm joking? I'm finna hit him up right now. I said, man, you can wear that blue hair.
I'm about to check his Facebook or his IG to see what his pictures was looking like. Man, that shit is hilarious. It's actually a tough foe. He's going there against, I don't know how the hell Kiryl Relikh was able to secure this eliminator after losing to Ricky Burns already previously. I'm not sure if he's had a fight in the interim or not since that loss to Ricky Burns. He may have had only one fight since then. Actually, he hasn't. So since Ricky Burns, he hasn't fought. So somehow he's managed to stay as a mandatory or in to put himself in an eliminator position, even though he lost to Ricky Burns for the WBA belt already. Man. See, man, this is, yeah, never mind. I'll save it for later. Kiryl Relikh, he's definitely a guy that feels his power too much. He's impressed with his knockout record, and that's what cost him his fight against Ricky Burns. You know what I'm saying? Instead of setting stuff up, he just wanted to throw nothing but power shots. It looked nice, but he ended up looking foolish in there with Ricky Burns for a lot of the fight. He looked impressive early, like he was going to be able to sustain and possibly connect later on, but, if you don't break stuff down and set stuff up, eventually, man, you're going to get figured out and, the adjustments are made. So that's going to be a big thing. Barthelemy's a guy that's been known to give up his damn reach and his height. In previous fights, the guys that are pressure fighters. So that would be interesting to see if that's something he does in this fight. Like I said, Relikh can pop. He's got a pretty high knockout ratio, so I don't know, how Barthelemy chin is as far as at this weight class, how he'll be able to take a guy that's a big 140 and that's a big power puncher at the weight. So that's what I'll be interested in seeing. But he definitely needs to use his height and maintain using his height in this fight throughout the whole fight. Because, like I said, Relikh is a very dangerous puncher. And, you know, Barthelemy giving up his height could play into Relikh's hands, which, you know, I don't necessarily think is a good thing. He's another Ricky Hatton-trained fighter as well. So, you know, those guys are definitely pressure fighters, high-volume guys. So it'll be interesting to see, but I definitely think this is a fight that Barthelemy can win by UD as long as he does, you know, simple basics, you know, using his reach and sticking to it. So that's my selection on that one. And there's actually one other fight we can go into, but I think we're going to save that one for a night at the round table later in the week. And, you know, that's a fight that's going to be between Naoya Inoue. You know, he's going to be defending his title Sunday morning over in Japan. So we'll probably touch on that one on a night at the round table this week. You know, he's going to be fighting Ricardo Rodriguez, defending his WBA belt. And there's actually rumors that he may be moving up in weight since the fight with Chocolatito. It's looking like it's not going to happen at all. Yeah, so I guess we're going to go into the U.O.E.N.O segment of the week and, you know, wrap things up, man. On this day in 2011, Andre Ward defeats Arthur Abraham by unanimous decision to retain the WBA 168-pound title and advance to the finals of the Super 6 tournament, to which he would later go on to defeat Carl Froch, I believe, in the finals. So, yeah, big up to Andre Ward. Training camp, he's came up a couple times already in this in today's show, you know, as far as with the fight for Kovalev. So big up to him, man, on that win. And, you know, that was probably like the beginning of the start of his legacy, winning that Super 6 and all that. That was just the beginning for him. So big up to him, and good luck in this fight in June. I guess the final blow is on me this week, fellas. Shit. I'm going to try and keep it short and simple. You guys know I ain't really big on these things. I guess we've had some issues with the sanctioning bodies recently, man. We're seeing it with the WBA right now with their situation as far as what they did. I'm just seeing now with Kiryl Relikh in this Rances Barthelemy fight, him losing the fight and still maintaining a mandatory status for a title position. And also with Wladimir Klitschko in the WBC. I just think, man, there needs to be some kind of universal code between these organizations and these sanctioning bodies. I mean, to have some kind of normalcy between the rankings. I mean, a vetting system between the rankings, because this shit is just ridiculous. Seeing the fall off between the names and certain organizations and seeing how things are handled misappropriately, such as the Klitschko jumping up 10 spots over a guy that's already pretty much a guy that was supposed to be fighting in the title eliminator. Shit is just absurd, man. So there needs to be some kind of judicial review, I think. Somebody some kind of oversight, man. That's my biggest thing, because we're seeing a lot of corruption within these sanctioning bodies. It's not anything that's new, of course, in the sport of boxing. But, you know, me being in the media now and paying more, you know, closer attention to the actual business side and shit and that goes on the inner workings of the actual sport, as opposed to just me being a fan of the fights itself, which is, something I've always been. I'm starting to see how corrupt shit is, man. And I mean, it's a sport that already has enough to deal with as far as the best not fighting the best, and people flocking away from not watching it because people can avoid fighting the best in boxing. And, the sanctioning bodies are actually, have their hands in a lot of this shit with some of their inner workings. Like, there was no need to put Klitschko at number 2 after losing twice in a row, especially with a guy that's considered the boogeyman of the division is lurking in Luis King Kong Ortiz. People would much rather see that fight. Unless you're going to make a title eliminator between him and Klitschko, I mean, don't fucking do it. That's the only thing I think that would be fair. So, like I said, man, there needs to be something done in boxing as far as having some kind of oversight committee, judicial review set up over the sanctioning bodies that will bring some kind of fixation or fits into, like I said, just the discrepancies between them, man. Because it's just bad for the sport, and it leaves a black eye on it. But, yeah, that's all I pretty much wanted to get out for the final blow, man.
I agree with that. Twine.
All right. Thanks, fellas. With that said, man, I guess you could check us out on Night at the Round Table later in the week coming up, and I'm going to let the fellas give their handles and where they can be seen, man. Before we get up out of here. Bo, go ahead.
You can find me at Truth and Facts About Boxing. Follow us on YouTube. You can also follow us for more content on Twitter at Truth, capital T for Truth, _ capital F for Fact Box 1. You can also find us on Instagram, Truth _ Fact Box 1. You can find us right here in the movement, Pound for Pound Boxing, our main event. Shout out to the YTBC, the LDBC, Guard the Grill Boxing, We Live, We Sleep Boxing, Talking Boxing and Bullshit. And you can also find us on the Ring podcast. And, like I said earlier, I say it again, shout out to Adonis Stevens on Mother's Day.
Anything you'd like to add on the show? Or are you finished or are you done yet? He's definitely done because I muted his ass anyway. So he's definitely done. Bernard, man, where can they catch you at?
You can catch me at the Movement on Twitter, the Movement Boxing. That's DAMUVMENT Boxing. That's on Twitter. On Instagram, you can find me at the Movement BP, DAMUVMENT BP. Of course, you can find me in the boxing groups under Bernard and Eastwick, the Movement Facebook page, Talking Boxing and Bullshit, SSS Boxing, We Live, East Sleep Boxing, Fisticuffs Boxing, Ring IQ Boxing, and also a few more others. And you can catch 2K, the God of Boxing Talk, on YouTube. That's the Guys of Boxing Talk. 2K, you can find 2K, on Twitter at Boxing Guys, capital B for Boxing and capital G for God. You can find Big Cool on Facebook, on Facebook under Colossal Boxing Talk. That's his page. That's what he's doing for there, as well as in all the boxing groups on Facebook as well. You can find 2K.
Also on YouTube, you can catch Big Cool Colossal Boxing Talk.
Yes, that too. And other than that, I want to say shout out to the IBO. They don't have that many sanctioning bodies. They don't have the sanctioning body probably like all the other 4 sanctioning bodies have. So shout out to the IBO.
Oh, also, man Dawood, his son, along with Lil Future, Mark, Mark's son, is going to be participating in the Junior Olympics in Missouri. So good luck to them. And Michael Irvin, his daughter, is also fighting. So good luck to him. And you said shout out to 2K. I'm going to call him 2Bay because every time his wife get mad, she be like, at the kids, she be like, yeah, you 2Bay. So Shout out to our missing boy.
Wow.
That light-skinned motherfucker that's not here. Shout out to his ass too.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, man. I'm trying to Divine Liberty. FoodJab.com. You can catch me writing articles for them, man. On all the biggest fights, pretty much. You can catch me in all the Facebook groups that these guys mentioned earlier. You know, of course, our group, the Movement boxing.
So before you end,
the Instagram already, but you know, you can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on our YouTube channel. You should catch me in Eastwick Boxing, talking boxing the bullshit, championship rounds, Die Hard Boxing, big up to y'all. You know what I'm saying? TLR, We Live, Eat, Sleep Boxing, Boxer Ramp, you know, that's ran by Mary Laree Owen, big up to her, one of my media homies out there in Vegas, big up to her. Guard Your Girl Boxing, you know, all of our affiliates, Ring IQ, of course, just everybody that's supportive and, you know, hold it down, man. Go ahead, Bernard, you want to have something you want to say?
Yeah, I did have something to say. You can catch us at the round table. I believe it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. I believe we're going to have it on Tuesday, most likely. But I want to say we're going to have Adrian on the show. So she's going to be on the show on the round table Tuesday. I'll definitely give her a call to make sure to confirm that. But yeah, she's a woman. She has her vast knowledge. She's seen a lot of boxing over the years. So definitely tune in to this Tuesday. And I definitely want to throw a topic out there that we talked about for the U.S. boxing, about HBO and Showtime having boxing at the same time. I want to know, throw this topic out there on the round table. What's your take on the UK having two cards at the same time going on the same day, like what happened yesterday with the Kal Yafai fight?
The Josh Warrington. That's a good one, man. I actually got something I'd like to mention about that already because just because I was talking to one of the guys over in the UK. He was telling me about how pretty much the fights come on over there. So yeah, that's definitely a good topic to bring up, and I'll be able to do some homework in the meantime on it to bring up on the show. So pick up on that, and till then, you can catch us all night at the round table on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, and every Sunday, man, on the Movement Boxing Podcast. Peace, y'all.